Nylo was sold to me as the saviour of Sweden. The fallen kingdom of Counter-Strike had finally produced a rifler who could actually keep up with international competition and potentially lead a team back to the top. He managed to do it pretty impressively on Metasport, not necessarily playing in Tier 1 that is, but at least demonstrating that he had that ability. He put in fantastic performance after fantastic performance, and we were all, quite rightly, excited when he joined Heroic. Unfortunately, his step away from the game, and then the following chaos really around the roster when he does return with the removal of their coach and AWP, the awkward changes they made to try and bring players in, but also losing Tanir, it was a mess. All of that has contributed to him having a bit of a rough period. He's had good events followed by bad events, up and down, just map by map. You couldn't really predict what you'd get out of Nylo, and it rarely looked like he was influencing the game and winning matches for Heroic. Here in Bucharest, he might have found the winning formula. He's still playing his sort of cerebral, not too aggressive, not too confrontational, and perhaps, mechanically limited style of lurk, but finding kill after kill, frag after frag, and winning maps for his side against the likes of Aurora, which is fairly impressive. We're going to be looking at that Mirage game against Aurora today, really trying to fixate on what he's going for, what he's trying, and why. That's the big thing with Nylo. He's not just an aimer. He isn't as sharp as Tanir. He can't spray like Nota. He doesn't have that aspect to his game where he can just out-frag people in a 50-50 duel. What makes him special is his ability to make every duel heavily skewed in his favor. Let's take a look at it. Let's get right into this demo. Let's begin on the pistol round. Heroic on the T side. And Nylo with a P250. The pistols are the one place you can truly say Nylo has an edge mechanically. He seems capable of constantly picking up at least one frag, sometimes doubles and triples. He had a pretty nice pair of kills on Dust 2 at this event, I remember. But it's the one spot where, oof, you see little things like that, little flashes of brilliance that make you go, mechanically at least. He has smart plays, little counters, little reads, little lurks that are also very satisfying in their own right. But mechanically, outside of the pistols, you rarely find yourself, well, making noises you'd rather not have made into your microphone. Let's put it that way. Pistol round 1 off the back of a very chaotic set of trades and an xCloud clutch. We get into the Force Buys. What's been fascinating to me is that at this event, Nylo has been the most ethical fragger, as it's become known in my community. Ethical fragging, no eco fragging, just straight gun round v gun round, brawling. Well, not brawling in his case, but just impact. That's a tough fight to lose to Wicardia there. Wicardia landing 3 straight MP9 headshots is what it is. Sometimes you just lose. I'd really appreciate it if demos would be fixed anytime soon, but hey, anyway. He's had an ADR in gun rounds of 91, in gun rounds versus gun rounds, so full buy v full buy, other team has weapons, he has weapons, bang, 91 ADR. That's really damn impressive, but what's almost shocking is the fact that that's his highest round type. When the other team is a half buy or an eco, his ADR is lower. When his team has a half buy or an eco, his ADR is actually catastrophic. It's so low. But no, when the guns are out, when it's a fair fight, when players have all the util they need, when the rounds are playing out in their entirety, not just a brain-dead rush at a minute 10, Nylo's been fantastic. And those are the rounds you want to win, need to win, and that end up winning you tournaments. This is the most boring round of Counter-Strike you'll watch at this event. Apologies for not skipping through it. I forgot it was happening and just talked right in. Yeah, he's going to sit here for a long-ass time. Then he's going to miss the Molotov. Just listen to the sound cue if you can hear it in your left ear. As the nades drop, you'll hear his Molotov. Missed. And then we go into this exec, which is pretty doomed. The one lurk, I was not sure if that was Linus or xCloud. I'm assuming xCloud was lurking mid. Gets shut down immediately. They go for a rotate, but this is all blind. They have no map control. The exec failed. This is pure panic stations. Let's just try and get a fight somewhere, and maybe the bomb will get planted. What's funny is that I've called this round doomed. I've said this is all screwed. They win this round. A poor fight from Woxic, and then getting into this bomb site actually Alcaraz, yeah, there he goes, there's the deagle shot, actually gets it done off the back of some RNG. Jesus take the wheel. And Maja not biting on the plant, letting it go down, and Alcaraz in the 1v1 actually getting it done. A very tidy round. Out of the young Orpa. But back to Nylo. One of the things I did emphasize when the Tanir edition happened, after Nylo, was benched or benched himself, let's not get into all that, was a difference in playstyle. And that playstyle difference is not that extreme. They are both, in a way, lurkers. They're both going to be playing to trade and close a lot of the time on the T side. And then like to be set up in similar ways on the CT side too. It's just what they use to their advantage. Nylo's that cerebral aspect, the lurking a smoke just on a timing, going for something when he expects his enemies to have their back turned, jiggling out every little angle. Like, he's very cautious and careful in these sorts of spots. He likes to hold flanks for a little bit longer than other players do. He's rarely caught off guard. He's just smarter. Tanir plays with a little more aggression, puts a lot more faith into his aim, and tries to hit those shots. You'll see a lot of this. Nylo just edging out smokes, trying to get little gaps of space, be in places the CT side do not expect. And that's why he's sitting here behind the smoke, just waiting for someone to walk it so he can get a free kill. He knows that Aurora as well are a team that will go for that kind of thing, so this is the right opponent, the right round to try it. Actually clears under, lands the headshot. Again, thinking man CS. Bombs down, 4 on 4. Now for some clean play, just nothing silly. Gets himself in a ramp. Youngstar takes out Xantares. And Woxic might be known CT. I think that's why he's waiting. He's not choosing to peek this. And Aurora's defense, yep, now on the save. A mid-smoke for the cross. And then we're looking towards ramp, actually. Now, most of the time he does tend towards underpass. In that sense, he is comparable to, if we think about what team was our exemplar when it came to Mirage for a long time, still to this day, I think it's fair to use them as your reference point. It is Na'Vi. In that sense, he is Immer on this side. The parallels are actually startling. Not the strongest mechanically. Relies more on being in the right place at the right time, rather than just hitting headshots. That is Nylo. That is also Immer. Now, I think Nylo's slightly crisper and a bit more passive in terms of the style he likes to play. But there are similarities, distinct similarities between them. Just a 1-minute exec into a saved AWP. X-Flat on the entry. Nylo the main trader. Ooh, just gets the gun out in time. Down goes Jota. That's going to be a converted round. Again, saving the guns of the CT side. Magic's going to go for that AK. And he does get it. Will Nylo be able to catch him? That's the real question. Yeah, again, cautious, careful. Rarely in a rush, rarely caught with his pants down. But it does mean he will miss a timing or two like this one, which a more brazen player will actually manage to convert. Oh. For Heroic, the goal at this event wasn't so much to win it. I tweeted about this before the event started, made it quite clear a few times on different shows where we, touched on this. Heroic need to make playoffs. They didn't need to go all the way, they didn't need to win the entire event, they just need to make playoffs. And for me, establish something of a repeatable win condition. And whilst you can point to each map or each series and be like, oh, look, in the first series, crazy overperformance from X-Cloud. In the second series, we really needed a massive youngster performance to get it done. And then in the third series, well, that's when it all kind of made sense. Lovely catching that player. Just had to pause for a second just to give you the perfect example of what I was talking about before with him catching players through those smokes, trying to make the most of timings, and now deep lurk into CT. We see the rotation coming back because they know he's got this space. Lovely lurking play. The one gap is that jungle player. Hopefully that's been communicated and the AWP can check it. Ooh, Alcarin, not an easy thing to check with an AWP, goes down. But if you looked at the first series, yes, xCloud, massive overperformance. Nylo was up there. Nylo played well. Second series, massive overperformance from Youngster. Nylo, still putting up good numbers, still up there. Third series, finally you see Nylo's top of the board. It's not like he's gone exploding up out of proportion. He's only at a 1.38 or something like that. Something not too far from that kind of number. You know, a strong performance, but he's not had to give us a random 2.0. It was finally clear. A 1.37, there you go, it's 0.01 off. That Nylo was actually just the star of this team. And if they needed him specifically to win a couple maps, win a series, have lots of impact, he could do it. He only had 7 multi-kills across the series, and yet, you know, 2 clutches, plenty of frags. And whilst it was more of a team effort to get that Inferno over the line, Mirage was the Nylo story. And it really was, for me, Nylo unleashed. Him showing that he is now the man on this roster. And sure, they're going to get great performances out of xCloud every now and then. Youngster plays beyond his sort of roles in terms of his ability to have big impact rounds. Alcarin slowly coming to the fore as a sniper. But this is Nylo's show, this is Nylo's team. And he's going to be here, carrying for a long time. See another round lost there with a lost fight. Just straight up, head-to-head duel lost. I'm not going to pretend that he doesn't have that weakness. I said it earlier in the video, I'm not going to harp on it too much, but I do think he isn't the sharpest player I've ever profiled. That's a nice adjustment. He still is capable of hitting shots. He still is a talented player in terms of his mechanics. It's just that my comparison, my benchmark for sharpness when it comes to prospects, remember, I've profiled Boros, I've profiled Donk, Kioske, I've profiled NPL, Nota, these guys who are mechanically outstanding, and also, in certain contexts, they are just not necessarily... Okay, how to explain this? Each one of them has a mechanical ability that is just the cream of the crop. You know, Nota is one of the best sprayers I've ever watched. Boros, one of the best flickers, you know, headshotters I've ever watched. All these players have something truly special in their mechanical profile that I can't really say for Nylo. He doesn't have a 9 or a 10 out of 10 skill. Hell, he probably doesn't have many 8s. But everything's solid. Everything's good enough. Maybe his pistols are an 8. His pre-aims are an 8. His spray and his flicks are a 7. But it all combines so well with his IQ, which is his strongest characteristic, to make him a really dangerous lurker. Big, bold swing into Woxic. Doesn't get him down, but does plenty of damage. Oh, bloody hell. Nice cough so bad. Where's my mute button? There it is. But yeah, we do have 4 multi-kills and 2 clutches out of Nylo on this map of Mirage. Which is pretty impressive considering it does not go very long. It's not a long map by any means. But he has an 81 ADR, plus 5.5% round swing, a 1.61 rating just on Mirage. You're like, wow, that's really good. It's not even the highest on the team. Alcarin at a 1.8. But that consistency map to map is what's also been really positive for me. Nylo's worst map at this event, a 0.96, I believe, in their game against Bebboom. His highest, a 1.61. Everything else has been somewhere in between, but mostly sitting above a 1.2. It's just really nice to have something we can rely upon on Heroic. And there we go. Late in out of underpass, catching a freebie onto Arcadia. Again, it's not the most impressive frag in the world in terms of the highlight reel. Neither's that one. But it's just smart, thinking man CS. Nylo plays how that guy on your matchmaking team who's baiting everyone does, except for him, it's the right play. It's not just something he's doing to maintain a nice KD. He's genuinely making intelligent, heads-up Counter-Strike decisions. Oh, we've got a tech pause. Oh, God, yeah. I've watched a lot of heroic demos. Well, not even necessarily heroic demos, just a lot of demos recently that had so many tech pauses. I watched... I can't remember which game it was, but I had to sit through like 3 separate tech pauses just on a demo. That's uber frustrating. Apologies. Here's the second part of his game. We saw it on that B exec, or A exec rather. Now we're seeing it on this short play. He's the trader playing off of xCloud's shoulder, xCloud being the sharper, more entry-focused rifler on the team. Can't get it done. Struggles to land his bullets on those moving MP9s. It's a trend across the games. It's probably a big part of the reason why he's better full by v full by than he is full by v half by. He just mechanically struggles to hit those moving targets. And that leads to some deaths and some KD killers, some ADR reducers in his demos. This round I loved. Pops the smoke. Okay, just to clear. I think it's this round. I might have misspoken entirely. We'll find out soon. Alcren does get a pick off that smoke pop. No assist. I'm sure that'll come soon. I'm sure CS Valve will add that as a feature. But the round I'm thinking of, he lurks through into... Okay, it's definitely not this round. We won't talk too much about it, but it's a nice little lurk play that uses xCloud's attention. Like, the attention xCloud draws very nicely. But I do like Heroic's T-side, generally how it looks on this Mirage. You know, the way they are very comfortable taking map control. You know, they don't get caught out very easily. They're able to get picks and work the map, freeze, find info. Now, I did see a couple of anti-force buy rounds where they were just straight execing and ran into the stack. But at least, for the most part rounds, especially gun rounds, they are treating it... They are treating their T-side with the proper care it requires. There we go, trading xCloud again. Alcren picks up Major. Now we do have a bit of a snake in the grass, a player in Sandwich. Jota 1-2, that's a big problem. All of a sudden this round is no longer 1 for free, but Nylo does get him as well. Nice triple kill. That's 8-3. See, we're changing the default whilst maintaining the same sort of control we need. Just classic, classy T-side CS. Youngster does get caught off. That's a bit of a problem. But we've got a plan lined up to try and make up for it. It is sort of a... Oh, hang on. This is the contact play right here. Nicely adjusted onto Santares. Pre-aim, very comfortable. Santares re-peeking for the frag. Spots the man. Doesn't extend his fight. He does get picked off, but still. Nice piece of work. These are two teams who I've had very different views upon in terms of their leadership this year. And we saw there some of the things Heroic had done, where they're taking map control, establishing a default, but they have a plan here, they have players here, they're covering this vaguely. You know, they're actually playing a proper T-side. And they do that across all maps. Helps to have a player like Nylo, who is more of a ROPS-esque lurker than anyone on Aurora really is. But Aurora, yeah, they've been famously single-minded and readable. And we saw that today, actually, on their train game that they lost. It's a map they've been picking, but Saw was able to completely demolish them on that T-side. Damn. Pistol round 1. Not thanks to Nylo's contributions. Nylo with that M4 on short. Was the position Tanir was holding. And what was interesting is Tanir, you know, he is going to play this area rather aggressive. It is going to be fascinating to see how Nylo approaches it. Because for Tanir, short was a sort of a launching pad for playmaking. And that's sort of carried over into his Spirit tenure a little bit, at least in the few games we've had so far. But Nylo, you know, rarely strikes me as that brazen. There's more of a sort of set play aspect to the way he will try to get off of short or play his CT roles aggressive. You see here him jiggling while sitting and holding connector. Another player we've been talking about a lot, Zontix. He would play short prior to Tanir's addition. He wouldn't jiggle when he was sat in that top position. He would just sit still and play a little further back. I prefer the way Nylo approaches it. That's a dink. Okay, the dink converted. Mid lurker known, but yeah, the bomb site's completely fallen. Xloud going 1 for 1. That's a save. Okay, hero gun. Let's see what you're made of, Nylo. What do you go for with a hero M4? What's called? I mean, it could be a call out of Linus. It could be, you know, what you suggest. Either way, what are the team feeling? Bit of a spam boost up into ladder. No info, so cautious that there could be a fast short play. A lot of players I've watched would just push out, take a look out the door. Instead, he sits here, jiggles it. Constantly being more careful than most players you watch at this level. Comes back towards window. There's the nade. Very well done. Popped open by maybe Xloud. That's a little sloppy. That's a little silly. Yeah, makes noise coming off. Tries to escape, gets spammed. Could have jumped back up. Instead goes down to Maja. Yeah, really nice little set play setup. They end up completely collapsing on that Aurora offense and shutting it all down. But yeah, the opening idea, really cool. You know, initially holding for the short play whilst maintaining his position up and elevated so he can quickly transition back to window. They pop the smoke late. Bang. Free kill. You love to see it. A rush out of Aurora. Who would have guessed it? They go fast. Alcaran only goes 1 for 1. It's a losable round. 3 on 4. You've given an AK, an M4 rather, over to the side of Aurora. Maybe even they recover that AK. I wasn't sure, but they have one, and it's on Xantares. Deep molly spots the head moving. And Xantares gets another kill. Linus chimes in. Nylo, 2v3. We've got to use that brain. I give him all his credit for that cerebral play. Need a big play here, late to close. Nylo, the closer of Heroic. Really, that's his official title. I looked it up. It's on the website. Nice shot. Linus also gets Jota. Wicardia, the last one left. Accidentally falls past him, but still gets the kill. There's the defuse. 12 to 4. Map point. AK saved on over. What's the call here? On map point. Oh, Maja catches Xloud. Xloud going very aggressive by himself. And oh, we're down at 3 on 5 already. I mean, Alcaran brings 1 back. He brings 2 back. Lovely round out of Alcaran. Let's give him some credit. Let's give him some screen time. Pure contact swings out of Aurora. Loving the lack of protocols and util. Great triple kill, honestly. Some of the best stuff we've seen out of Alcaran all season. Nylo playing smart, playing safe. Waiting to figure out where the hell that mid player got to. There he is. Taps away, doesn't land it. It doesn't overface. Maja. Now left 1v2 after Linus takes out Jota. Nylo and Linus. They've got the bomb. They've got the info they need, really, to make this a 1 round and a 1 map. Timing's getting a bit suspicious, isn't it? Yes, it is. Look at that check. Crossing over, make sure he's not exposed. And there's Linus taking him down. No way you expect both players here. There's the info. There's the free kill. Nylo converts. So a pair of nice and easy clutches there to close things out. But really, a great showing out of Nylo and perfectly demonstrating the kind of play he's going to be famous for. He's not famous for it yet. He will be eventually, mark my words. Yeah, fantastic play. Alcaraz also had a great game, but that sort of level out of Nylo, that sets their floor so much higher than it was before. Yes, we need other players who are set up to succeed, right? But Nylo is the main sort of star in that he's got to be the flat line that just everyone gets supported by. He is that. His rating should be that 1.2 to 1.3. Hell, it can drop as low as 1.16 in terms of like a 6-month average, but he's got to be an actual dependable star for this team to be good. He has been so far, and this is exactly how he's been doing it. All right, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on Nylo, on this version of Heroic, if it can maintain. I'm sure once it comes out, there'll be people who watch the playoffs, then come back. If they get smashed in playoffs, so be it. But this is a much better sign for Heroic. They can finally feel a bit more excited, I think, for the future with this exact 5. I know I am. But yeah, sub for more, like if you enjoyed, all that good stuff. And remember that members get access to bonus content and the right to vote and more privileges, I'm sure. I just can't be asked to list them all. All right, see you next time. Goodbye.